Welcome to Ask SQL Family podcast. This is episode number 11, and our guest today is Carrie DBA, Grant Fritchey.
This is a podcast for SQL family members.
Excellent.
From SQL family members, especially from the well-known SQL family member, like you. So we are going to talk about not only technical stuff, probably in this interview less technical stuff,
Okay, cool.
and more focus on the community, volunteers, organization, and etc.
Sure, not a problem. Happy to help.
Yeah, great. Okay, at the beginning, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Grant Fritchey. I work for Redgate Software. I'm the Product Evangelist, and also I am a volunteer for the PASS organization. Currently, I'm serving on the PASS board. I'm the Executive Vice President for Finance and Governance, but starting in January, I will be the PASS President.
Oh, congratulations!
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Grant.
Thank you.
So it has been announced just 1 hour later, 1 hour ago, or?
Well, it was announced a little while back,
Okay.
but yeah, we've made a big deal about it.
Okay. Good for you.
Well, thanks. It's going to be a bunch of work, but we'll still have fun.
Yeah, as always. Yeah.
But I think that it's not only good for Grant, but good for all the organization and also for us, because Grant is a very energetic person.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Well,
right person in right place.
Well, let's hope. But I've got a real focus on the global growth. I mean, you guys, we met over in Poland, and I love coming over there. I'll get over there as soon as I can. But I'm really into the whole idea that this is a global organization. It is a global SQL family, and we need to do more. The PASS organization needs to do more to support global growth and that kind of stuff. So
yeah. So already we know what are you doing, but could you explain a little bit in details what are you doing? For example, let's say start from the PASS.
Okay, sure. So, currently I'm doing I'm the executive vice president, so I do the finances. That means I work with all the other portfolios on their, budgeting and figuring out, where we're going to spend the money and how best to spend the money, and how much money we're going to make, and where do we take it then from there. And that's a big part of the job is just managing the cash. Looking at spreadsheets, which, God no, I didn't realize I was volunteering to look at spreadsheets. But as well as that, I also help manage the meetings. We set the agendas and then make sure that we stay on target and get the meetings done clean and quick. So it's very, very little noise and just information, and we meet the goals and get out the door and stop. I hate meetings, so the less we can do, the better, right? But so we manage those, and so that's the work I've been doing at PASS. But upcoming, I'll become the president, which I don't even know what that entails yet, really.
You realize very soon.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it sounds like a very serious bunch of duties. It's work. You put in several hours a week at minimum, sometimes more. Like here at the PASS Summit, it's been pretty much nonstop. I do a lot of work here. We have meetings with vendors, meetings with Microsoft execs. It's and meetings with each other, meetings with the community. We just finished an hour of question and answer with the community. Trying to engage so we know what people want, and and frankly where we're not getting the job done correctly, so that we can always constantly improve. Yeah. Okay. So how you can then split your time between PASS and Redgate?
Well, I'm very fortunate in my job. Redgate Software is a great organization, and they are active supporters of the community. They support SQL Saturday events and other events all over the world.
and they believe in the concepts of the community, and so they supported me running for the board, and so I'm given dispensation to occasionally spend a little bit of my work day, occasionally, on the community stuff, and I'm just very thankful for that. It's just I'm lucky.
Yeah, true. So going forward to the Redgate now.
Okay.
So what is your duties? What are your main duties in Redgate? Then?
Oh, I stand around at parties and no. No, mine.
Yeah, yesterday the Grant gave me the coupon for the drink. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem. Absolutely, that's big part of what I do. My main thing at Redgate is to I have to learn how Redgate software works. I have to learn as much as I can about the tools, and then I have to learn how to apply them into businesses. And then I basically come back around and teach you guys how to do the same thing. That's a big part of what we do. Is I get an understanding, and then I share that understanding, either through webinars or videos or articles. And then I also occasionally do on-site consulting. So I'll travel to someplace, talk to the DBAs, and work with them to fix a DevOps solution or.
So from that perspective, it's very good to have a direct connection to the people, to the customers. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you want to make sure that that you're attempting to not only that you're solving the problems that they need, but that you understand, right? That what problems they have, so that you're building the tools. So I do that, and then I work with our dev teams, because as a DBA by experience. I bring a perspective that they don't have, so I can bring that in and work with them to help set agenda on the projects.
Okay, so I think the next question must be, how is your work-life balance?
What's this life thing you talk about? It's pretty good. It really is. Redgate, I'm lucky. Again, I'm lucky. They take very good care of their employees. Every 5 years, they give you a 6-week sabbatical, and so I just recently took mine for the first time. Even though I've been there for 6 years, I delayed it for a year.
Okay.
And I had 6 weeks basically spent home with my wife, and we went for 3 weeks. We went to Germany. And because I'm trying to learn how to speak German, and so we went there and just,
really?
Nice. I'm not very good at it.
I saw a lot of pictures from your
yes, a lot of
holidays.
Pictures on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
holiday,
oh yeah, we had a good time. So she got to see me for 6 weeks. So the fact that I'm now away from home. No,
for the balance.
Yeah. There you go. 6 weeks every 5 years. No, I'm kidding. They take really good care of us. My travel time is about 50%, so I'm about half the time I'm on the road, but the other half I work from home. So I'm able to set my own schedule and go to and get things done when I need to, and go work out. I need to do a bit more of that, obviously. Step away from the dinner table, but go work out or go camping with the kids or whatever. And I get to do a lot of that kind of stuff. So it works out fairly well, since it's only half the time on the road.
Okay, so tell us and our listeners how you start your adventure with SQL Server.
Well, SQL Server, I've been working with it for, good gosh, 25 years or so. I started out initially as a developer, and I was doing a lot of VB back then. I moved on into C# and some Java, but initially SQL Server was just this thing that I used on the back end. But what I found was that I spent more time messing with the database, making sure we had the right indexes, changing the database design, and I spent more and more time in the database. So at one point, one of my jobs, we didn't have a DBA. I found out later why, but we didn't have a DBA. And I went into my boss's office one day and said, "Look, this is going wrong. And I kind of went off on a crazy rant and yelled and screamed, and this is a problem, and this is a problem, and this is a problem." And he starts writing all the problems down on the board, And and I kind of calm down because I see that he's listening to me, and he turns and he says, okay, so now which one of these do you think you ought to address first? And I said, what? and suddenly,
surprised.
I was a DBA. It was kind of shocking.
Oh, wow.
But that's how I started as a full-time DBA, and that was about 20 years ago now. So
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. A long time ago. Yeah, I started. Okay, Damian. Any question in that part, in that area?
Well, I would ask only one. What's your favorite tool? What do you use the most?
Don't tell us.
Redgate SQL Prompt.
Redgate, of course.
Okay, a part of that.
Okay, so apart from Redgate, what's my favorite tool? Let me think about that for a second. I'll tell you, because I do.
You already exist. That anything else exists, yeah.
No kidding. Funny enough, it's not a database tool. The one tool that gets me through my day, because I have to record videos and all this other stuff. I really appreciate TechSmith. They have Camtasia and Snagit are the two tools of theirs that I use all the time, because they let me do screen captures in a really highly controlled fashion. And then also record video, and I use those a lot. But SQL Server tools, I can't pick a competitor, so let me think about this. I know. Sios. Sios has got some really interesting stuff going on, and I've been seeing what they're doing with it, and it's pretty amazing. They've hooked machine learning into some of the monitoring products that they're doing on Azure, and it's really amazing.
I would like to ask about what you do for community, or let's say how you share knowledge, because I know your blog.
Sure.
And I would like to ask you, why do you call yourself Scary DBA? What's so scary in you?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm scary at all.
At all, of course.
But well, the story's really simple. I was my previous employer. When I first started, there was we only had a few DBAs, and frankly, some of the DBAs we had at the time. They'd translated over from the Oracle side, and they weren't always that great. A bunch of them learned stuff, and we became a great DBA team. But when we started, it was a little rocky. And a developer came over to me one day and said, I've got a problem. Can you help me? And I sat down and walked him through the problem. And he went back to his dev team and said, hey, I've got a solution to the problem. I talked to the DBAs, and they went, wait a minute, which DBA did you talk to? Because there's a concern as to some of the DBAs weren't quite getting things right. And he says, I talked to the scary one. And like everybody in the room went, oh, Grant, and then they started laughing and called me up, and you'll never guess what happened, right? And they told me this, they told me the story. And and then the next week, a nameplate shows up on my desk.
Wow.
It's the Scary DBA, and so so everyone would know who I was.
Okay, now we know the story.
Now we know the story. Okay, that's great. Okay, Kamil, go on right now.
Okay, so the past summit as a conference. You need here a lot of volunteers, yeah?
Yeah.
So how could you, maybe not only for past summit, but also for SQL Saturday, yeah?
Sure.
Across the world, how could you encourage the people to be a volunteer?
Well, I mean, one, I would start off by going to your local groups wherever they are. I know you guys have a bunch and so I would track down your local group first. That's a good place to start, and frankly, I would volunteer to speak, because the local groups are pretty always looking for speakers. I mean, it's just a constant thing. So volunteer to speak. Everybody can teach something, right? Everybody knows something the rest of us don't, or you have a better slant on something than the rest of us have. I would start there, but also once you start seeing, like, maybe help out with the local group, help organize the pizza one night, see if your company can sponsor or host the meeting. The reason the more you do it, the more you're going to recognize that it's all about, meeting people and networking. And a lot of people say, networking's about looking for work. It's not. Networking's about making contacts with people. And you make contacts with people. Can it help you get your job? Sure it can. But more importantly, it helps you build up a knowledge base, because I don't know everything. I can't know everything. So I have some friends I know who are really good at SSIS, or I also know some people who are doing analysis, analysis services, or they're doing Power BI, or other things. And so if I hit a problem, I can send off a quick question. Hey, can you have 5 minutes and you can help me out with this? And it makes me a better employee, because I've got a broader scope of knowledge available to me, rather than just the stuff that's inside my head, right? And or what I can Google. I'm going to get better answers from friends and acquaintances who are experts at different things. And so the networking is a huge aspect. It's just invaluable to your career is to have a good network of individuals. Fellow DBAs and developers and analysts, and you want to like a diversified board of people. Build your own little board of directors, right? That you can talk to and get help from. And some of them will be consultants, and they're going to say, "Well, I can give you 3 minutes," and then you have to pay for it. But but you still get that 3 minutes, and so it's just a great way to go.
Yeah, but still, so many consultants contains the MVP title, yeah, for example, yeah.
Sure, yeah, there are a bunch of them,
yeah. So I think they should be obligated to answer a few questions, at least.
Yeah, and I think most of the consultants you see who are MVPs. Oops. Wow. Yeah. Well, you guys can't see it, but something just fell over here. But we're okay. Anyway,
we are still alive.
I think MVPs are well, a friend of mine, Jeff Heighton, put it. The MVPs have helper gene, right? We can't help it. If you come up and ask us for help, we'll help you. That's just kind of how it goes. I think that's a big part of how you make MVPs. You've got that gene built into your DNA.
Okay.
Helping gene, and of course the wish to share the knowledge, yes, because you can learn. Also, sharing the knowledge, you can learn from that.
Oh yeah.
Also.
Yeah, I learn more by doing. I learn more by doing a presentation, because I have to structure everything. I have to set up the examples. I have to test it. I have to validate it, and then when I'm presenting it, I get asked questions. And I don't always know the answers to those questions, and so it becomes something else I have to go and look up, and again, it's just this nonstop knowledge, right? It's wonderful.
Yeah, basically it was proved by the scientists that you can learn the most if you are preparing yourself to the presentation, sharing knowledge. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
The scientists say it's okay. Awesome.
So how do you prepare yourself to give a presentation, give a talk?
Well, the hard part is deciding what to talk about. Figuring out how to say something new about a topic, or how to have a new wrinkle on a topic. I mean, you could just, you could just teach the same stuff over and over again, obviously. But you always want to like add and change. So coming up with the topic's the hard part. But then once I've got a topic, basically I just start drilling down on the data. I read articles on it. I write articles on it while I'm doing stuff. I will spend a lot of time with the database, and just drill down on the whatever it might be, and figuring out ways to break it or modify it or make the behavior change. Frankly, I call it playing, right? I go and play, and just like, okay, so let's say you want to look at batch mode and column store, right? Or batch mode processing in an execution plan. You shouldn't even talk about column store because it's going to expand past that now. So we hear Microsoft has announced it. Well, so how do you do that? Well, you go in and set it up, right? You create a table, create a database, add some data in there, slap a column store index on it, run a query. Did anything happen? Okay, what if I run the query differently? Did it happen? Did I change the data? What happened? If I forced the plan to go parallel, what happened? Right, and just kind of work your way through that. And then once you've got your knowledge, then you just start, it's like, well, okay, hang on, how did I have to set this up? 1, 2, 3, 4. What did I have to do to modify it? A, B, C, D. Awesome, there's a presentation. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. We're done.
That's it.
And just be able to walk through and explain it to people. I do rehearsals. I will walk around my room, running through my slides or running through demos and talk to myself. My wife makes fun of me. But I do rehearsals and I do practice everything, and because you don't want to do anything for the first time, standing in front of 100 people. That's no fun. Although I've done that, and that's how I know it's no fun. But and so that's pretty much it. It's really come up with the idea and then play with the topic until you've got enough knowledge to put together your presentation.
On Twitter, you actually has more than, if I could remember, more than 10,000 followers.
Yeah, I just broke 10. I just broke 10,000.
Really?
Well, it was like
not today, not yesterday.
2 months ago.
Do you feel the public person?
Do I feel like a public person? No, I don't. I try to put myself out there and be accessible to people. My goal is to be helpful, right? I'm not that smart, but I've been around a long time, and so I know a few things, and I feel like I can share those things, and frankly, I get a good feeling out of sharing. So it's kind of selfish, really. It's not so much that I'm some wonderful, nice guy. It's I get a good feeling out of sharing, and if somebody says, "Man, your script helped me," that's why I do it, right? I read your blog and it gave me a piece of knowledge that fixed something at my company. That's how I win, right?
Yeah.
Is those little moments where
great feeling,
where somebody says, that helped, and it's like, ta-da, I win.
That's your prize, of your work.
Seriously, that's my prize, and it's just come to find out, some companies will pay for you to do that.
True. Okay, and I'm asked about the Twitter because I'm your followers as well. But also I've seen many times that you share some articles that you're reading, So it's obviously not, maybe not obviously, I should say it's not about the IT, It's completely different area,
I read a lot of. Wow, good gosh, I read a lot.
Are you safe? Because
we're way out of the way. It's just,
about 100 meters from us. They're assembling everything. So that's why you can see some.
So anyway, I do read a lot of stuff on IT, but I also read a lot of stuff on how people think, on how to better communicate, on how to put together presentations. I read a lot of science articles on space because I'm just kind of interested, and then I read a ton of articles on history. I'm a big history nerd. I read books on history. I read articles on history, and basically, if I find a good one, I mark it, and then I share it later. I just kind of spit out 2 or 3 a day during the week, links to articles I thought were interesting. A lot of times it's SQL Server, but sometimes it's how to write a better presentation, or
sometimes it's good to read something else.
And give your brain a rest, right?
Exactly.
So I think that, granted, your journey to Germany was pure historical, because you've been in so many places, historical places. In Berlin.
We hit a museum almost every day. My wife and I. I'm a hardcore history freak. Walking around looking at the architecture. Visiting certain locations. The big one that I most enjoyed was going to
There was a lot that I don't want to pick any one thing to say it was the best place, but the best like specific location that we went to was the Battle of Nations in Leipzig. There's a big monument there, and that was just stunning. That was a special moment. But that's a Napoleonic War things for anybody who doesn't know.
I have only one question right now about the community.
Okay.
Because as you were explaining, how do you prepare to give a, let's say, at least good presentation? Because I think you give perfect presentations. But how would you like to convince, let's say, a typical person to prepare to be a speaker during, let's say, a local meeting?
Sure. Well, it's easy. So let's say you're a DBA, pick on DBAs for a minute, and let's say that you've got a development team that's they're trying to do something that's going to hurt your database, like they want you to put in all heap tables or something crazy like that. How do you convince them to not do this crazy thing? Well, you have to explain to them what's going to happen when they do this, and how it's going to hurt performance, and the various effects that it could have, and that's basically a presentation, right? You are absolutely going to be teaching someone and putting across your point of view, and if you do that really poorly, then they're going to drop all the indexes on the database, and everything's going to be a heap table, and you'll be living with that for a long time. So you don't want. So since we want to avoid that heap table problem, let's learn how to give an effective presentation. Let's learn how to, talk through these points and attack them from a logical standpoint in such a way that I can convince someone that I'm right, and that I'm going to be helpful to them. It's not simply, you're wrong, but here's what happens, and here's what we could do to make things better, and just talking to strangers and walking through this process, it's a great way to train and practice, and then you come back to your business and you do it there. And it's the same, if you want to convince your boss to give you a raise, that's a presentation, right? If you're in a job interview, that's also a presentation.
Yeah.
It's just, you're actually doing presentations a lot. You just don't think about them that way. So it's actually worth it to practice presentations. And a good way to do that is to go to your local group and do them. You don't have to be trying to become an MVP. You can. Go for it. But just for your own personal business and your own personal life, practicing your presentations is a great way to go.
Yeah.
I would also say the same thing about blogging. It's practice writing, and you have to write emails and business proposals and evaluations, and so practice writing by writing a blog. Further, when you're learning things and you're learning them, one step at a time, if you write them down in a blog, it makes it a lot easier to remember later. Also, keeping a blog or something like that acts as a way for employment, for you to show businesses what you've learned and what you've been doing. So any of these things that we're doing, it's not simply to become an MVP or you go on the road and speak in 27 different countries or something. I haven't spoken in that many. It's about, it's just about being better at your own job.
Tell me, are you perfectionist?
Am I a perfectionist?
Yeah,
Good God,
in your
no.
life, in your personal life, in your professional life.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm a largely very compromised individual, and I just do my best to get by. I couldn't do a perfect thing, no matter how long I tried.
But I think, but the most, or at least probably by the all people from the community or the attendees, like in this conference, they can see you as a very good professionalist.
Well, thank you. My approach is not so much to be a perfectionist. My approach is to try to do as much of the right thing as possible, and then
kind of deal with the fact that you're not always going to get it perfect, and so would I want my database just to be purely designed and tuned to a fairly well, and everything's just shiny? Yeah, I'd love to get there, but I'm not going to, and and I've accepted that, and so I'm going to go for good enough. I'm going to go for this meets the business needs adequately. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough.
So
like an execution plan, good enough.
Good enough, yes, exactly.
But not perfect.
But not perfect.
Nothing like this. Like there's nothing like perfect thing. Yeah. So good to hear that, because we already heard that from many people. Yeah, Damian.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So
yes, right.
I think it's the perfectionist is not the goal itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And honestly, a lot of people will look around and they'll go, "Well, I'm not going to do this because I can't be as good as you." It's like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, one, you'll probably be better than me, but you want to be good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be great. You just need to be good enough. So people shouldn't stop trying, right? It should just keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. You can be perfect. You can be perfectionist. Let's say perfectionist in your own way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Your own course. Yeah.
And this drives me to one more question about your blog.
Okay.
When you put a lot of articles.
Yeah.
With great quality, because in my opinion most of them are really very helpful, and imagine that there is a new person who would like to start blogging, and the person says, well, there is Grant, there is Aaron Bertrand, there is Brent Ozar, there is Paul Randall, and many other great authors. What can I write? I am maybe 1% of their knowledge. Should I start? How should I start?
Oh, that's an easy one. I can tell everybody the same thing. I shouldn't say that. If you're a developer, I'm not sure what I'd tell you. But if you're a DBA, I can tell you exactly what I would tell you. Write a blog on backups.
Even if
okay. Only about that subject?
Well, I mean, yeah. The reason I say backups is because one of the problems that we run into is that people aren't taking their backups. There was a recently reported the New York Police Department has a database that they haven't backed up ever, and it's a database that it's a database of money, right? Of confiscated material, and they don't back it up, and it's. I mean, you look around, you're like, really? I mean, I thought we solved this problem.
Yes, like 20 years ago.
I kind of really thought we had this one cornered, right? I mean, everybody knows you run your backups, but evidently not. So if you're a DBA,
nobody remember who did that.
Yeah, and so the thing is like, please go out there and write an article on backups, because somebody who's not doing their backups is going to read your article, right? They're going to find your article, and your article is going to speak to them personally in a way that they're going to go out there and get their backups done. And that's the same way on every single topic. It doesn't matter that somebody else has done it. Your point of view is going to be different, and your point of view may speak to other people better than my point of view. So there's no reason why you can't do the exact same article that I just did. In fact, go and steal my last my last article is a pass article, but go steal my last technical article and write your own version. You know what I mean? Why not? It's not gonna be a bad thing to have two people talking about the same topic.
Yeah, basically in different way.
Yeah,
different way, because this is crucial what you have said, that write it on your own way, so it's not purely stolen.
Well, I don't want you to literally steal it. That would be bad. I'll come down and find you. But
yes, that's right. It always have to be something personal in this article, your point of view, so the author's point of view. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if we ask about this so far, but what is your greatest achievement What do you feel? What's your greatest achievement? Professionally and maybe in personal life?
I was going to say I raised 2 kids and they're at college. I think that's my number one achievement. I managed not to break them. I think that's my greatest achievement.
That's true.
I don't know. I think that's number one. After that, I mean, like professionally, I gotta say, making MVP, when I made MVP, that was a moment I will remember forever. It was just amazing. Most recently, I would say, I guess, being honored and enough to become past president. That's recent. I'm still kind of coming to terms with that one. I might think differently later, but really, when I made MVP, I was just so chuffed and amazed and just out of my depth. I can't imagine another feeling like that. But it was cool.
So how long are you MVP?
Exactly.
I am coming up on 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like me, I think I started in 2009. So it will be in January.
Oh yeah, so you're ahead of me. I was in April. So.
April.
Yeah, April 1st, April Fool's Day was.
Yeah.
I had to check the email header to be sure it was really from Microsoft. I thought somebody might have been fooling with me.
Do you have any animals at home?
Yeah, actually I do. We have a little German Shepherd puppy. She's about 9 months old. Her name is Anika. Well, she's a German Shepherd. Right now she's maybe 40 pounds, so she's very small. But she'll probably be about 70 pounds or so. She'll be a good sized dog.
Okay, that's why I thought it's smart, because probably I saw on the picture somewhere.
Oh yeah, we had another dog, Maximus, and he died. So he was a big boy. He was 80 pounds. He was a big buff bear of a dog.
Okay, Grant, thank you very much. At the end of our conversation, I would like to ask you when we can find you, when the listeners can find you.
Oh, where?
Where?
Sure. Well, I mean, online at @gfritchey is my Twitter handle, and my blog is scarydba.com, so you can find me there. Live, the only thing I have coming up is I'm going to be at Live 360 next week. Live 360 in 2 weeks in Orlando, Florida. But more importantly, in February, I will be on SQL Cruise, Caribbean, which is at techoutbound.com if you want to go check that out. It's run by Tim Ford. It's a pretty amazing event. It's special. You get more dedicated time with speakers there than you will anywhere ever. Kevin Kline is going to be there. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great event.
Oh, it's a special place as well.
Well, yeah, and also you get to hang out on the beach with rum, so that's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Great. And hopefully we will be able to host you again in Wrocław one more time.
I would come back.
Day.
Yeah, I would come back to Wrocław in New York second, man. That was a great event. You guys do a great job. Oh yeah. That's, believe me, I've sent people to you, like, go and ask them if you can speak.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've talked up Poland like you wouldn't believe. I loved it there.
Now you know, Diamond, you know why we have so many speakers from the USA.
That's great. That's great. We'd like to be even bigger, because we have a potential to be bigger, but it's community speakers, so everybody makes this conference. So
sure.
Also, it's you and Grant when you were last year with us. So it was like a big kickoff for us. So we were able to ask Brent and Greg Lowe to come. So
great.
So they were this year in May. So we'll see who will be with us next year. For example, we have Itzik Ben-Gan right now. Itzik is willing to come and give us a all-day workshop. So perfect.
Oh, great.
But you are always
Yeah,
you know
I will send you
very
an email.
warmly welcome.
Oh well, thank you. I would love to come. I mean, it's I have to arrange it with work, but I would come out there just in a second. It's one of my favorite places now. I didn't know it was my favorite place till I went there, but but now it is one of my favorite places.
Great.
You guys in Belgium, those are I just can't get enough.
So I sent you an email, Grant, because people really were asking about you. If we can have you one more time, at least one more time, because the sessions were, those great sessions, your and Aaron Bertrand. So
hey, I would go every year if Redgate lets me. but I know you guys get sick of me at that point, so, maybe every other is a good thing.
It's knowledge, so people like it.
Cool.
Okay, Grant, thank you very much.
All right, not a problem. Oh, it was great talking to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time, and you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Thanks. We will do.
Talk to you
Thanks.
later.
Bye.
Cheers. Does it your hobby? Yeah. Can I call it?
Sure,
like
I guess.
this?
Yeah, I mean, although I really love going camping. That's my one hobby that I don't get to exercise a lot, but it's one I really enjoy. It's just getting out in the woods and
again, sorry.
Camping, getting out in the woods and throwing up a tent and
Camping.
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 Sorry. No.
No, it's my fault.
It's my weird accent. My accent's part from Oklahoma, part from New Jersey, and part from Massachusetts, and so I sound odd as an American.
Thank you for joining us, listening this podcast, and time spent jointly.
You can find this podcast on website sqlplayer.net.
Share this episode if you like it, and let us know if you want to hear a specific person from SQL community, or maybe about interesting topic or technology.